Thank you. Welcome to the Municipality of Thames Centre regular council meeting. It's Monday, March 8th, 2021, and it's 1 p.m. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Are there any additions to the agenda?
There are none.
Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. The Municipal Conflict of Interest Act requires any member of council declaring a pecuniary interest and general nature thereof, whereas the interest of the member of council has not been disclosed by reason of the member's absence from the meeting, to disclose the interest at the first open meeting attended by the member of council and otherwise comply with the act. Announcements. Do we have any announcements? We do, other than Happy International Women's Day, which there is, so that's one announcement. And CEO Henry, you have an announcement you would like to share with us?
I do, Your Worship. Thank you. I almost actually forgot. So we have been staff been working diligently on producing a municipal app. We started late in 2020, and we had some timelines of the first quarter of the year, which we have met to launch it. So it is out and ready to go. If anybody wants to hop on their device, just put Thames Centre into your search categories as far as the app goes, and you can download it, and it has all the parameters you need to interact with the municipality.
So if I need a burn permit, I just go to my app. Absolutely.
Permits, any information, if you want simple information on the taxes, weather, the app has just about everything. The one thing that we're going to look to do and moving forward is interact with the public, and businesses will be able to go on and log their business in and have it searchable. So if someone comes to say an event in Thames Centre or uses the Flight Exec Center and they want to go have lunch, that business would populate up on the screen with the surrounding businesses that would be available in the community. So very powerful if it gets used. So we really want to encourage everybody to use it. So
I'm sure it will get used.
Yes. After the second or third report here that's on the agenda, I'll ask Council how they'd like to handle the launch of this moving forward.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Great announcements to hear. Consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and may require discussion, but no action on the part of council. Consent items are received for information in one motion. Council members may request that one or more item be removed for further action. And we have regular council minutes, February 22nd, 2021. Correspondence regarding River Heights Capital Bill Project, February 22nd, 2021. Correspondence with OMAFRA on home-based food business, which actually was quite a good thing to read. I don't know if anybody had a chance to read that. And then correspondence with the Municipality of North Middlesex regarding their Rural Education Task Force. And then correspondence from the Middlesex London Health Unit monthly update. So I'm looking at Deputy Mayor Elliott.
Sorry, through you, I would actually just like to pull 5.2, the correspondence for the River Heights Capital Bill Project, just for discussion. Through your worship, this, for the rest of council and for the public, this letter was written by Mayor Warwick and myself to our MPP Jeff Urick in regards to the River Heights Childcare and Early On Center next door here. As some of you may remember, it was approved by the previous provincial government back in 2017 to have that Early On and Childcare Center added on to River Heights. It got mixed up in the provincial election and with the new government coming in. After that, it was approved for 80-20 funding instead of the 100% funding, but Middlesex County Council did approve to fund that 20%, knowing that this was an extremely important project to not only to Thames Centre, but to Middlesex County as a whole. And as of right now, the project is still sitting at the Ministry of Education for that final approval. So it has been waiting for 2 years for final approval. We do have a capital project sitting on this, a joint project between Middlesex County, Thames Centre, and the school board in order to bring all the water and infrastructure, wastewater infrastructure to this project. And so we really need to push to get this project moving. Right now, the Village of Dorchester has no full-day licensed daycare, and we know how desperately we need daycare in our communities. And so Mayor Warwick and I wrote this letter to MPP Jeff Urick We also had a meeting with the Women's Caucus with MPP Monty McNaughton on Thursday morning where we brought this up, as well as the Women's Caucus have also wrote a similar letter directly to the Ministry of Education, to Stephen Lecce, about this project. And so I had brought this forward and requested it to be under the consent agenda because I do want council and the public to know that we are pushing this project forward, that the Women's Caucus has taken on this project because we do strongly believe how important it is for our community. So whatever we can do to politically push this and get that approval through the Ministry of Education, I think we should be taking every opportunity.
Thank you. And I say that this project has been a long-standing project with different complications that have been thrown our way. And the staff of Thames Centre have gone over and above what they needed to do to try and work out a plan regarding serving them with water and wastewater, and not looking at the first thing that was sent in front of us, because that would have destroyed our ball diamonds and different things through the park. So I think we've gotten a great compromise. We've put money aside for this project. We've gone over and above, and I think it's now time, Deputy Mayor Elliott is right, it's time for add to political pressure, and that's what we'll be doing in the next few weeks to see if we can get things moving, because nothing would make me happier than putting a shovel in the ground over there, as our Minister of Infrastructure likes to talk about, shovels in the ground, and we would like to be able to do that. So thank you for speaking to that. So we have now all these consent agenda items, 5.2 to 5.5, to motion to receive and file, and to adopt the minutes. Okay, thank you. So Councillor Heeman, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott, all in favor? Thank you. Now we're moving on to the reports of departments. The first report we have is 6.1 PDS BD 00121 Source Water Protection 2020 Annual Report. And would that be our Director of Public Works bringing that forward?
Source water, Aaron, will speak to this as well.
Aaron? Okay. Aaron, you're on.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and Council. So in front of you, report BD 001-21 is the annual reports under the Source Water Protection Act and our plan that gets submitted to the Ministry of Environment. And I'll open up for any questions.
Council, any questions regarding this report? Fairly straightforward that we see each year through our different things. So, okay, if there's no questions, then I'm going to ask for council to receive this report and its attachments for information. Okay, made by Councillor Heeman, seconded by Councillor Hunter. All in favor? Okay. And Aaron, I believe you're taking the next report as well.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this is the Building Services Fee Study Quotation 2021. Thank you.
Yes, so report BD 002-21 is in front of you there. It's a report based on a quotation for fee studies for the building departments, and we're looking to award the contract to BMA. And again, I'll open it up to council for any questions.
So questions, anybody? Okay, and maybe Aaron, if you have a minute, just maybe explain you know, what would be the advantages for Thames Centre to have this study done?
Well, under the Building Code Act, the building department is required to be cost recovery, and all of our fees are supposed to be recovered from our building permits. So in order to do this properly, and with the addition of staff we've had here in the department, we're looking to redo our fee study to make sure that we're covering all of our costs within, right? Does that answer your question, Your Worship?
Yep, that does. Thank you very much. All right, any questions regarding this? No, okay. So I'm looking for a motion to receive the report for information and that council permit municipal staff to award the quotation from BMA Consulting at a cost of $12,890 as recommended. So Councillor Heeman, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott, all in favor? Great, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
6.3, Admin C00121 Annual Accessibility Status Report. Who would be speaking? Okay, thank you, Tina.
Through you, Your Worship. This report is provided annually, and what it does is summarizes the 2020 initiatives at the municipality.
Okay, and I think there was some great initiatives according to that report, especially the swimming pool. I think that's an awesome thing that we've changed, and feathers in our cap to the people that planned that to make that accessible for everyone. So now I'm looking for motion to receive. Councillor Hunter, okay, seconded by Councillor Heeman, all in favor? Great, it's nice doing this without the delay. So that you can actually know that people are hearing you instead of going, oh, they're hearing you now. That's great. So 6.4, admin 00121, communication media policy. So who is speaking to this? CO Henry?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Before you is the communication media report. I found off screen, so I'm not going to write off the number, but you just did, so we're all good. So this report's a long time in coming. In fact, this policy and procedure was probably brought over from Old North Dorchester, so it was quite archaic. And needed some change. So I've been in touch with the media. We reeled in how we had to do things, and virtually everything was going through the CAO, which isn't necessarily the process that we have for both council and staff sake. So to give you a Coles Notes version on what this policy will do, anything that's related to staffing or operations will filter through Alan as our communication point in the municipality, and he would disperse it through. If council is approached by the media, then I would coordinate working with all of council by way of email to get an approval to keep that moving. And of course, as the head of council, Your Worship, you would be able to answer anything that the media comes to you directly about. So we'll convey those channels to the media and work with everybody in that regard. And Alan will certainly be more active in this role, but that gives it kind of an underlying base of where this media policy is intended to go. And I'm sure there'll be some questions, and I'm sure there'll be some discussion involving that as well.
Okay. I guess we're looking at the old policy being from 2016. I think our knowledge of technology and our change of meeting styles has gone faster than anybody can even think. I mean, there was a lot of the stuff that should have been done a long time ago, but this pandemic forced us and many other municipalities and businesses to change the way they do things, and it outstripped our policies. Like it's good that we're catching up to this. Any comments before we call the vote? Questions? Deputy Mayor Elliott?
Yeah, through Your Worship. I'll maybe just say I welcome this with open arms. I think as the way that the public can interact with council members changes so rapidly that municipalities, and not just Thames Centre, municipalities as a whole, have kind of lagged behind on adapting to how they communicate to the public as a corporation. And so where individual council members across the province and across the country have had to fill in those gaps. And when we bring in policies like this, where it does come back to the corporation, it takes that pressure off of individual councillors to fill in those gaps all of the time. And I know as we look forward and having someone dedicated to the social media and answering those questions, that it better serves our residents as a whole, and it's not a piecemeal approach. So I welcome this.
Okay, great. So we have the other comments before I call the vote? Councillor Heeman?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo Deputy Mayor Elliott's comments, and I think that we have some really great communicators around the table and in the organization, and we have some really good processes for how we make decisions, and I think this provides further guidance to harmonize it and keep that communication single voice moving forward possibly.
It's funny, like social media, when, maybe in 2016, people were like, oh no, we shouldn't be using social media, we shouldn't be this, and we've really had to rethink. I mean, to be able to communicate to people through this whole thing, social media was huge, and the changes and you know, as we've said before, the municipal government took their direction from the provincial government. And that was done a lot through social media, so much that they would do an announcement and people would assume that we would be ready to go with that. But instead of, you had to look through the actual press release and make sure we knew and understood what exactly it meant. So there was a big, you know, grew in leaps and bounds. So we have a report, admin 00121, that's a motion to be received and filed, and that the communications media policy CPA 5.4 and CC 1.7 is attached to report 00121 be adopted and incorporated into the corporate and council policies of the Thames Center Policy Manual, noting that such a policy will replace policy EPC 3-13 dated May 9th, 2016. So that's a little fun. Yeah. So Councillor Hunter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott, all in favor? Great. Is someone speaking to the next one? That's 6.5, the Thorndale visual video tour? Steve, okay, and there he is. See, Steve, I've got this on this screen and that screen, I've got you all over. Okay, so here we go with CS00621, the Thorndale Lions Community Center Virtual Video Tour. Steve, take it away.
Good afternoon all, through you, Your Worship. The purpose of this report is to receive approval from Council to proceed with a virtual tour for the Thorndale Lions Community Center. The main driving force behind this is with the ongoing pandemic, it's still not safe to hold an open house at the facility. So, and there's a lot of excitement and interest and curiosity in Thorndale and beyond to see this great new facility. So this will allow us to get this done, have this posted on our website and share it through social media so that the greater community can enjoy what we now have, and as well moving forward, it will be an ongoing asset to help just promote the facility for rentals and whatnot. And with it being done for COVID related reasons, we can, it's a modest cost. We have a local person who does a fantastic job working with us on videos, and so the cost is only estimated at about $300. However, it does it can be covered by the COVID Safe Restart funding. It would qualify for that sort of funding. And just two other things I wanted to mention, that after the meeting in the coming days, I'll reach out to all of council by email for two things in regards to this. First of all, to see any of you are interested in lending a voiceover to parts of this virtual tour. I'm working on the script, so you won't have to do it off the cuff. I'm welcome to any input you have on content for the script. However, I'll reach out to all of you regarding that. And then secondly, I'll be reaching out to all of you regarding input on any dates that would not work for any of council for an open house. We're going to set a tentative date for approximately 7 or 8 weeks out, hoping that by then we'll be in the green zone. And so we'll proceed all plans for that date. But then once we start promoting the date, I'll make it very clear that that is pending that we are in green or better, not that there's really a better than green right now, for that event to happen. Otherwise, it might unfortunately have to be pushed back. So I'll be reaching out to all of you about that. And I think that covers it all, unless there's any questions.
No, anybody have any questions for Steve? I think you made it fairly clear. And I think that, it's such a beautiful building. It'd be nice to celebrate it with everybody, but we had great success with these films, and I think that it's a great compromise for now until we can have the actual big bash party to open it up. So we've got the recommended motion, which is that CS00621 be received for information, and that council authorizes staff to coordinate production of a virtual tour video of the new Thorndale Lions Community Center in accordance with the municipal communication and social media policies. Yes, sir.
If I could add in, please, that if council could have a bit of a discussion as to deciding on the voiceover and the assistance that would come with that, that would help Steve with some direction based on our new media policy on who's going to do that and get some direction.
Okay, so when do we have to make that decision? We don't right now.
You don't, but you're here to have discussion if that's open to council's pleasure.
Okay, so I think that anybody who wishes to participate as a voiceover, it would be great. Like, I think the more voices we have, This was a project that's been in the works for a long, long time and everybody's had a piece of it. So I think if it's possible, all of council should participate. Is there anybody that has any other feelings about that? Oh, okay, then, as long as we can stick to Steve's script, I think we're okay. Make sure that we don't walk on our own, so.
No direct stuff.
Yeah. So I think we'll be okay with that. So is that all you needed to hear?
Yeah, it gives Steve some direction that he knows he's reaching out to each and every one of you somehow, and if you choose not to, then that option is then he's up.
Yeah, okay, so I note that Councillor Patterson isn't here today, but I'm sure that he would like to be part of that as well, so. Okay, so Tom, are you gonna make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that one.
Okay, and seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott, all in favor? Great. Now we're moving on to, thanks Steve, PWDR 00521, Royal Fence Petition, Section 4, Request for Drainage Works. And I believe there he is. Just had to look up and there he was. So our Drainage Superintendent, Mr. Pitt, go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good afternoon, councillors. Before you is a petition we've received from the business, the Royal Fence business, a local Thames Center business looking to expand their operation. And they've engaged in a site plan approval for them to continue and be able to discharge their stormwater. Suitable outlet is going to be required, and this is the first steps in achieving that. I can answer any questions you might have in regards to this report.
Any questions regarding this report, Council? Seeing none? All right, so we have a recommended motion that report PWDR 00521 of the Drainage Superintendent dated March 8th, 2021 concerning a request received by Sean Nolan for a request for new drainage works to be received for information, and that the petition submitted by Sean Nolan under Section 4 of the Drainage Act for new drainage works in relation to the property located at Concession 1, Part Lot 1 be received and adopted, and that Mr. DeVos of Street Associates be appointed the engineer to investigate and prepare the necessary drainage report. Council, who would like to make that? Councillor Hunter, seconded by Councillor Heenan, all in favor? Great. And I believe we have Mr. Pitt back on again for the PWDR 00621, the Peterson Drain A request for improvement.
Thank you, Worship, and I'm sure council is starting to think they're getting a little deja vu here. This is actually the third request we've had for improving this drain, which would now take us the entire extent of the drainage, existing drainage works to be improved. Basically, this is what I project to be the last sign-on for this project, and it is an active project already. I can help answer any questions you might have in this regards.
Any questions? I think most of the questions probably came in the first two meetings for this. So the recommended motion is that report number DR 0621 of the Drainage Superintendent dated March 8, 2021 concerning a request received by Edward Davis for a request to improve existing drainage works be received for information, and that the petition submitted by Edward Davis under Section 78 of the Drainage Act request to improve existing drainage works in relation to the property located at Concession 2, Part Lot 15 be received and adopted, and that Mr. Mike DeVos of Street Associates be appointed the engineer to investigate and prepare the necessary drainage report. So three parts to that. Councillor Heenan made, Deputy Mayor Elliott seconded, all in favor? Great, thank you, Travis.
You're welcome.
Next, we have 6.8, the Thorndale Water Treatment Facility roof repair, an RFT award. And who will be speaking? Is there somebody on the screen? There is Mr. Craven. Excellent. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Welcome, members of council. Before you is council report PWES-00221. For the reason for this report is to receive council approval to the board the request of a flat roof repair and shingle roof replacement at the Thorndale Water Treatment Facility. Facilities located at 17163 Thorndale Road. We had leaks there. Staff tried to mitigate these seasonal leaks. That's why this, I guess it's a 2019 budget item. It came to fruition this year here because we need professional service work. A total of $15,000 was budgeted for this repair. The repair came in, lowest bid came in at a little over $20,000, leaving an additional $5,444 that we need to come up with. There was also a roof repair RFT at the Dorchester Dorchester Water Treatment Plant. That came in $13,000 under budget. So between the two projects, the funding is available if you consider consolidating these two projects together. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions, council? No. The only comment I have, and I say it every time, nothing ever good comes from a flat roof. So, looking up to the next repair. So we have a recommended motion that council receive report PWES 00221 for information, and that council award the Thorndale Water Treatment Facility flat roof leak repair and shingle roof replacement to the lowest bid from H&N Roofing and Sheet Metal Limited, the amount of $20,444.60. So looking for a motion. Councillor Hunter, seconded by Councillor Heeman, all in favor? Great. And now we have FL 00121 Tandem Snow Plow Truck Award. Oh, so I missed one. Sorry, 6.9. Stay here, Jared. Don't go anywhere. TWES 00321 2020 Drinking Water System Summary Reports. Okay, so go ahead.
All right, thank you, Worship. Before you, PWES 003-21 are the summary reports for the two drinking water systems in Thames Center. Where these reports are to be given to council no later than March 31st of the following year. Prepared 2020 summary reports for Dorchester and Thorndale both meet the requirements of Schedule 22 of the Drinking Water System Regulation, Ontario Reg 170-03. If I may, I'd like to address the drinking water system non-compliance incidences that are summarized on page 5 of each of the summary reports. Just in summary, all of these non-compliance incidences have already been addressed or will be addressed before the stated deadline dates. I'd like to also, if I may, although considered non-compliance incidences, and not by any means taken lightly by staff, I'd like to mention that despite these occurrences, both water systems scored a 99.28% and a 95.92% on the MOE inspection reports. We've fallen off for 100% that we've had for consistently for a few years, but we're not far off, and we'll be back up there again next year, I promise. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Promise noted. No, I read the report and I looked through it all, and I mean, really replacing the diesel engine and having that paperwork filled out, you would have thought was enough, but then accessory paperwork on top of that for the noise of the diesel engine. I mean, that's a very provincial thing to do, isn't it? So I have no, I know that speaking for myself, I have no problem with our water. I think everything is just fine. So again, the 95% and the 99% are excellent. So that's good to see. Council, any questions or comments regarding that? No? Okay. Then we've got the recommended motion that report number ES 00321 be received and filed, and that council receives copies of the 2020 drinking water system summary reports for the Dorchester and Thorndale drinking water systems. And these are always available online, aren't they? If somebody wants to see them, if somebody's watching this and they'd like to see, they're online, so they can go ahead and see them. Okay, mover, Councillor Heeman, seconder, Councillor Hunter, all in favor? Great. And now we're moving on to FL 0021, Tandem Snow Plow Truck Award. And Mr. Craven.
Thank you, Worship. PWTS 003-21 is for an additional snowplow for the fleet here. The budget line item was $360,000. Came in slightly over that, with including taxes would be $367,177, which is a little over $7,000 over budget. This is an additional plow truck to the fleet again, and the that extra dollars can be found in the Fleet Reserve Fund or the Development Charges Fund. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Nope. All right, so we have the recommended motion that council receives report FL 0021 for information, and that the Director of Public Works be authorized to purchase a 2022 International Tandem Axe Plow and Sander Truck from Carrier Truck Center for the sum of $367,177.56, and that the additional funding be provided through the Fleet Capital Reserve Fund and the Development Charge Fund as determined in the 2018 Development Charges Background Study. Okay. Who's going to make the additional vote? Paul? Seconded by Deputy Elliott. All in favor? Great. All right, thanks, Mr. Craven. And now we have F00221, the financial indicator review. And that is coming from our Director of Finance, Ms. Brogan. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and through you, Your Worship. My report provides council with the results of our 2019 financial indicator review. This is a review that's prepared by the province from our 2019 financial statements and financial information return. Thames Centre's financial indicators show that all financial risk levels are low. The attachments to the report provide notes that detail each of the indicators. And just as a reminder, it's important to note that 2019 saw a prior period adjustment of over $10 million to the capital surplus, which of course has impacted some of the 2019 indicators, especially when comparing to the previous year indicators as reported. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
Also have any questions regarding this report? No, I just want to say that it was a really good report to read. And it's nice to see that we're considered low risk and that our financial information is up to date and showing healthy rates. And I think that's a good job on your part, Kim. You're steering as well. Thank you. So the recommended motion is that report F00221 from the Director of Financial Services, Treasurer, added or dated March 8th, 2021, financial indicator review be received as information. Who would like to make that motion? Councillor Heeman, seconded by Councillor Hunter. All in favor? Great. And the next one is 6.2 or 6.12 F00321 2020 Council and Board Remuneration and Expense Report. And again, that would be your department, Ms. Brooke.
Thank you very much. And through you, Your Worship, this report is distributed in accordance with Section 284 of the Municipal Act and provides the amounts that were paid directly or paid directly on behalf of council and board members for the 2020 calendar year end. The 2020 pandemic has clearly affected the number of meetings, seminars, conferences, and workshops attended, which has resulted in lower overall costs when compared to 2019. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those at this time.
Any questions, Council? No, I think it's fairly straightforward. As much as we would like to be able to attend those training events and the different things that happen throughout, just not being offered, and obviously that money can't get used. So that is the change there. So we have a recommended motion that report F00321 from the Director of Financial Services, Treasurer, dated March 8th, 2021, which provides reporting for 2020 Council and Board remuneration and expense report be received as information. Mover, Councillor Heeman, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott. All in favor? Great. And then 6.13 F00421, the Municipal Modernization Program, Intake 2, the recommended vote. I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to let Kim take the floor. Go ahead, Kim.
Excellent. Thank you again, Your Worship, and through you. The second intake of the Municipal Modernization Program was recently announced and is now open for applications. The report before you provides details of the allocations of the 2019 unconditional grant that the township received under the program. And the report also includes a recommendation to utilize the remaining balance of that unconditional grant towards additional items related to the Public Sector Digest citywide maintenance manager and building permit modules that were approved in the 2020 calendar year. So the report also includes recommendations along with the financial implications of a submission of an application under this recent intake, which is intake number 2 of the program. And what we're proposing is additional multiple software digitization projects, which include a recreation booking software, Public Sector Digest planning module, eScribe integration with Laserfish, and third-party digital signature software. Staff would be happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
Council, any questions regarding this? I think the report was pretty straightforward, and I think the money that we're getting through the provincial government for these modernization programs are really being well used, and I can see an improvement in our service to our residents through these. So I think it's a really well thought out use for this money. And again, I commend you, Kim, on steering us forward through this. Thank you. So we have recommended motion is that report F00421 from the Director of Financial Services, the Treasurer, dated March 8th, 2021, Municipal Modernization Program Intake 2 be received as information, and that Council approve utilization of the remaining funding towards additional items related to the implementation of the Public Sector Digest citywide software, and that Council support the submission of an application under Municipal Modernization Program Intake 2 for multiple software digitization implementation projects, and that municipal share of funding be included in the 2022 operating budget. So a mover for these, Councillor Heeman, seconded by Councillor Hunter. All in favor? Great. Thank you. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
And then we move on to the mayor's report. So hold on to your seats. February 9th, we had a conference call with the Vaccine Task Force for up-to-date info. That's something that happens regularly with the province. Usually we have the Premier and the Solicitor General, Minister of Health, Minister of Municipal Affairs, all on the call. And it's usually quite an interesting question and answer period with mayors across the province afterwards. February 10th, I chaired the emergency contact group meeting regarding the pandemic. And at 10 a.m. I attended the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority meeting after that. So February 16th, the Women's Caucus meeting, and then went into the 1 o'clock County Council meeting. February 18th and 19th, I attended the Middlesex County pre-budget discussions. Very interesting to go through with that committee and see what the county's moving towards. February 22nd, council, we had a long meeting regarding planning matters. And again, kudos to our staff for organizing the call-ins for that, because there was quite a few. On February 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, I attended OGRA's conference. Again, it was a virtual conference. And I was here in the council chambers to do that because, again, we all know that rural internet doesn't always last well for conferences. February 24th was the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority General Meeting. February 25th, there was the county budget follow-up. And February 26th, we had a conference call again with the province regarding the vaccine rollout. And I think the message there is there are vaccines. There's a lot to organize. People understandably are anxious and want to get this done with, but it is going through as fast as we can, and it is a massive project to get everybody done. But I know that it's well underway, and with the 3 new vaccines that have been approved, it's going to go even faster. February 26th, participated in focus group discussing Children's Health Foundation with Deputy Mayor Elliott and CEO Henry as well, and an interesting discussion on that. March 2nd, we had a meeting with the county warden, Captain Burkhart Jessen, the county CEO, Bill Rayburn, and the county engineer, Chris Trainey, discussing the current situation of Thames Centre and different projects. March 3rd, we had the Thames Centre special events meeting where we okayed the Thames Centre Christmas light video, which was a really great video. Residents throughout Thames Centre participated by asking to be included on this tour, and it was, it wasn't the lighting of the lights, but it was a really good feel-good video, and that'll be posted on our website. Then we had March 4th, we had the Women's Caucus had a Zoom meeting with Minister McNaughton, and Deputy Mayor Elliott sort of touched base on that, some of the topics that we brought forward. At 3:30 that day, we toured the addition of the county garage on Gainsborough Road. So that was a project that had been long coming and is going to be used for a lot of the county council, the council employees and staff. Great addition to that building. Then on March 5th, I attended a 9:30 a.m. Zoom meeting with Ministers Urick and McNaughton discussing infrastructure funding possibilities with Mayor and Deputy Mayor of County of Middlesex. So again, that call was attended by all the mayors and deputy mayors of the County of Middlesex, as well as the CEOs, and it was a wholesome discussion about what we're going to be doing moving forward regarding funding. I think it's really important for the county to meet together like that every now and then and see compare what everybody's doing. We have a great idea sometimes of what's going on in our own area, but it's nice to lift our heads up and look around and see what everybody else is doing. And that concludes the mayor's report. Unfinished business. Seeing none. Notice of motion. Yes, we have a notice of motion. Deputy Mayor Elliott, do you want to speak to your notice of motion?
Yes, through your worship. Last summer, I did a walk with Jesse Farquharson and his mom, Lisa, who live in one of the subdivisions here in Dorchester. Jesse is legally blind, and the walk was to show me personally what Jesse experiences trying to maneuver around our community and be as independent as he possibly can. And there were a lot of little things, people parking on the sidewalk along Mill Road that interrupts his ability to walk, even the brush along Mill Road and Hamilton Road when that comes out onto the sidewalk, and that interrupts him as well. Placements of the sidewalks, and there's little things that I think as council and staff are things, since we don't experience them every day, are things that we don't think of. And the purpose of bringing forward this notice of motion to create an accessibility and inclusivity advisory committee is to have a committee that can make recommendations to council on things that we can do better to make our community more accessible and more inclusive to our residents. And so I put forth this motion and that the committee have 2 council representatives as well as at least 3 community representatives that can meet and really just make our community a better place. And so I would put that motion on the floor.
Okay. So the motion, whereas the municipality of Thames Centre strives to be an inclusive community that welcomes all residents, and that the municipality shall work towards promoting awareness and ensuring the barriers to accessibility in our community are identified and eliminated for improved accessibility in our community. Therefore, be it resolved that an accessibility and inclusivity advisory committee be established, and that the committee be comprised of the following members: 2 council representatives. So I'm assuming, Deputy Mayor Elliott, you're going to be one of the council representations.
I would like to be.
Good. And do we want to discuss now at this time who would like to? Councilor Human? So you want to second it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And did you say that you wanted to be a community or a council representative as well? Is that what you're trying to work towards?
Unless Councilor Hunter is interested as well, I think it's an important initiative. And someone who's struggled with disabilities myself, I think that there's definitely a lot of ground to be gained.
Okay. So it sounds like we have a volunteer. So that would be great. So let the record show then that Councillor Heeman and Deputy Mayor Elliott wish to be the council representatives.
Okay, Your Worship, sorry, might as well keep at this point. So in our past procedures and bylaws, we've changed one of those members of council to become the chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that done at the actual first meeting, or does that, like you have 2?
It's a council appointed chair.
Okay. So I think probably because you brought it forward, I think you'd be chair.
Sure.
For your worship, just the terms of reference will also be coming forward to be adopted, and all
Okay.
this will be included in there as well.
All right, so I'll just finish reading off the rest of the motion, and then we'll go back to what we're talking about. And that the clerk be requested to advertise for community representative to sit on the Accessibility and Inclusivity Advisory Committee, and that the Director of Community Services and Facilities be requested to develop a terms of reference for an Accessibility and Inclusivity Advisory Committee to be presented at a future meeting of council. I think that covers all the things that we've talked about. Gotten 2 members already. This is just really good. So it'll be very interesting to see a minimum of 3 community representatives. So I'm sure that there'll be even more than that, because anybody who's ever had to push a wheelchair around, like I did for a while, knows that there's a lot of places where you just can't get into. And it would be great to be able to make this accessible for everybody. All right, so we've had a mover, we've had a seconder. I'm going to call the vote. All in favor? Great. Any new business? No? Okay. So now I'm going to note that we're going into closed session, and that I'm just getting here that looking for a mover, because we're going into closed session pursuant to section 239 2B of the Municipal Act, being personal matters of identifiable individuals with respect to a performance review, and section 239 2C of the Municipal Act, being a proposed or pending acquisition of disposition of land with respect to municipal property. So looking for a mover to go into. Councillor Heeman, Deputy Mayor Elliott, all in favor?
Or
Okay, so now we at 2:51, we felt like 5:21. We're going to come out of closed sessions, and we have a motion in front of us. And the motion that we have is made by Deputy Mayor Elliott.
She has to say what it is.
Okay, yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead and read
yes, so I would move that the property described as part of Lot 17, Concession A, SRT, in the geographic township of North Dorchester, and designated as part of Block D, registers compiled plan 1020, generally comprised of the gravel parking lot at the Dorchester Play Exec Center, located on the east side of Dorchester Road, be declared surplus to the needs of the municipality of Thames Center. And that municipal staff be authorized to give notice of council's intent to dispose of the subject property in accordance with the municipality's sale of surplus land bylaw 48-2008, and that staff be directed to prepare a survey and media plan for public feedback as part of that notice.
Just a question to that. Are we saying the whole parking lot or a portion of the parking lot?
It's just generally
Just generally the parking lot. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have a motion in front of us. We made it. We have a seconder.
I'll second that.
Yep, seconder. All right, any more discussion on that before we call the vote? So I'm going to call the vote on the motion as presented. All in favor? Against? Okay. So we're going to move now to bylaws. Should we do the bylaws all together, or maybe? Okay. So the bylaws we have in front of us are 16/2021 to 2021. First one being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw as it relates to lands located at 5397 Westchester Bourne and 5407 Westchester Bourne. 17/2021 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw as it relates to lands located at 4211 Green Road. 18/2021 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw as it relates to lands located at 3810 Elgin Road. 19/2021 being a bylaw to accept and assume ownership of trails of Wine Creek Phase 5. And 13.5/2021 being a confirmatory bylaw. So who would like to make? Councillor Hunter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott. All in favor? Okay. Our next meeting will be Monday, March 29th. March 29th at 2021 at 5 p.m. and looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Clare, okay, so moved. And we are now seconded by Kelly. 2:54. We are adjourning.